going. Yep, just wanted to wait for that was done. Okay, Michael, if you could kind of move over towards me so she's looking in this direction now. I just want to get her from a slightly different angle.
You want to offer any questions?
No.
No, you're
No,
right.
I want to just talk about this too.
Yep.
What we did here.
Yep, that's great. Go ahead.
So we were worried also about the contamination, people sticking big garbage items in. So we had these cut out over at the town. We measured this to a certain size bottle that could fit in there. So it would discourage people from putting a big styrofoam thing in there or types of garbage. So it's pretty clear when you're walking down Main Street and you've got garbage that this is made for recycling, as long as people are going to follow by that. And also we made sure that they're next to garbage cans. This is one of the only places where it isn't. It's in a park, but all along Main Street they're always within a certain amount of feet from the garbage can, so people aren't tempted to use it. That was one of the things that came up as an issue. Well, it's just going to be garbage and they're paying for that, and then they're not going to want to sort through it at the recycling company. But we've had less than 10% contamination, and it's gone. We had some hiccups, but it ended up being great. So we're all happy with them, and now we have to maintaining them is the issue.
How much recycling do you get from these? Has that been kind of tabulated, like just in terms of weight or the amount that people are using it?
I can't remember how frequently the pickups are. I think they're in some places they're twice a week, and then others are once, depending on the amount of traffic that goes through. But I don't have a number on. Okay. Yeah. Right. I know that I've been in touch with him, the guy from I think it's County Waste that I work with, and he told me he'd keep me posted if they aren't being full, and then he'd decrease his pickups and whatnot.
Got it. So so they haven't had to decrease their pickups, so clearly they are being used then. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Other questions, Michael?
Yeah. It seems like a no-brainer to do this, especially in a small town, which there are many. Why do you think, or how would you encourage other towns to do this?
It wasn't easy. I would love to encourage other towns to do it, especially when you have a model to work from. I've had many other towns contact me since this began to ask me how we went about doing this, what steps we were taking, and also the person who gave us all these bins, he still works there. That's still an availability. So he's a connection. And I have given information to anyone who's contacted me about it. There are, bureaucracy can be tricky, or, any type of change, people meet with resistance in some cases. And it's extra money, but it's important money that's spent because recycling is mandated in this county and in many counties. So we're not in compliance with recycling law by not having any place to recycle them. So that was a good, if someone were to do this in another county, they should look up what the recycling laws are. And then it's just a matter of coming up with the town or village, putting it into their budget for the pickup, and you can come up with creative ideas on how to fund something like this.
Even though recycling is so important, does GreenWorks encourage the younger people and adults to just like reuse a thermos instead of buying plastic all the time?
Oh, absolutely. Well, for instance, we did the tote bag campaign. That was a big one. Years ago, you didn't really see many people walking around with tote bags. So we had businesses sponsor to put their names on bags, and so they were paid for themselves. And then we bought extras, and we stand outside of grocery stores and give them tote bags. So we stopped using plastic bags, and now all the stores carry and sell bags. This is 4 years ago when they weren't doing that. And then the businesses all have their name on them, and they sell them they could make a profit on them, but we asked them not to, just to sell them for $1 something. Because if you order $1,500 or $2,000 with this one company, the cheaper they get. So they were selling it for $1 each. We haven't done anything with, we talked about doing something with clean canteens and thermos, that sort of stuff, but it gets expensive. But yes, we absolutely encourage reusing stuff, as well as recycling.
A place like New York City, or a big city where most of the waste is going on, do you think it would be even possible for them to do something like this there?
I think anything's possible, especially with when there's a bigger city with more funding. These things are possible. It's really hard to say, but all someone has to do is try. Especially in the artsy neighborhoods in New York, in the smaller ones, I would think it would be embraced.
And if you had to pick one environmental issue that's really at your heart and you really think deserves attention now, what would you call it, and how do you have any solutions for it?
Oh, just one? I don't know.
Maybe I should rephrase that. What do you find yourself spending your most of your time on these days environmentally?
I think it's still lowering our carbon footprint in fact of as a group or as me as a person.
As a person.
I just try not to be wasteful at all and recycle everything. With my children, I focus on, make sure that they know everything gets recycled. It doesn't go in the garbage. If they put something in there, I pull it out, to the point where now they correct me if I'm doing something. Lights off at all times. I just try to keep it really simple at home, because life does get really busy, and we can fall into old patterns and whatnot, and plastic bags, that sort of thing. But there probably isn't any one real thing that.
You mentioned turning off the lights just now. I have heard that a third of our electric isn't even really used that we're generating. Do you do something at home to minimize electric use?
Sure. Well, we use LED lights at home, and we don't keep cell phone chargers plugged in, any kind of stuff like that unless it's being used. Computers unplugged, when they're not being charged. That stuff comes out of the wall, and no electricity waste, basically. But we try to be cognizant of that at all times.
Great. That's about all I had in mind, unless either one of you could think of anything.
No.
That's
Great.
really
Oh, you know what? Could you just say where all of the barrels are located in and around town?
Yeah.
And if you could just start it by saying, kind of like introducing it, like in paragraph format, but spoken, like
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, great.
So if one were to want to look at these barrels and see the different artwork on them, if you walk up and down Main Street, they're next to any of the garbage pails on either side. I believe there's one in Hasbrook Park. This is Peace Park. We have a few out at near the recycling center where the fields are. I can't remember the name of that park. It's down by the dump. And we've got a few out there, and there's some that are going to Field of Dreams, and down by the Gardens for Nutrition as well, and it goes all the way downtown. So anywhere you see a garbage can, and it goes to right about where My Hero is, and that's where it stops up there. We had no luck at placing them uptown with the bigger business and shopping malls and things like that. So we hit one thing at a time.
Okay.
We found a lot of people contacting us after they went in, people who had turned us down because they saw how nice they looked. And we did a big unveiling at Water Street Market right before they went out. We put all of them up, and we had everyone vote for their favorites. So we put poker chips in each recycling bin. We lined them up on the tiered lawn so everyone could see them, and they were out there all weekend for people to come and look at them and pick their favorite ones. They put poker chips. I don't remember which one won. But
So now, if a business in the area wanted to have one of these, now is it too late? Is there a way for them to get one? Like,
it would take a lot at this point to implement that, because we would have to deal with adding onto the contract, number one, and we would want to do this in a bigger sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine in a couple of years, because they are getting worn out, we'll revisit doing them over, and then of course we would add on. And it's a big project, and it would take a long time.
Okay.
Not as long as last time,
Yep.
but we had the luck of the students and the community's excitement about it, which I don't think would be diminished. It would actually be bigger this time. But probably 2 years. We want to give this one these their fair shot of staying out there. They're not going to last forever because of rust and whatnot. We try to maintain them.
great. That's so
any
good.
other questions, Michael? Anything else come to mind?
No.
No? Great.